There's no one who can testify as to who this witness is. No one. Nick, what are we going to do? I didn't even consider that he might have erased his fingerprints. What do I do? Well, Mr. Wright, perhaps you'd like to cross-examine his parrot for a little comic relief, huh? Yeah, very funny. You're a sore winner from Karma. Wait a second. Cross-examine his parrot? What is it, Nick? No, you're not going to. Your Honor? The defense would like to take Mr. von Karma up on his proposal. Take Mr. von Karma up on my proposal? Exactly, Your Honor. I would like to cross-examine the witness's pet parrot. Order. Well, what do you think, Mr. von Karma? Need you even ask? This is a farce. I object. Wait a second. You were the one who suggested I cross-examine the parrot, von Karma. I have a right to do as you suggested. Well, if you are so desperate, then please be my guest. Of course, should you go through with this, and nothing comes of it, then I hope you are ready for the consequences. Nick, this is crazy. Well, still want to go through with your little game? Of course I want. Sonst gibt's auch nur Japan. Let the parent take the stand. I will cross-examine her, Your Honor. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Von Karma rigged every person's testimony, every piece of evidence, except the parrot. She's my last chance. At least, I think so. Bailiff, bring in the parrot. That's quite a bird. Please tell us your name. Name! The witness is ignoring me. It must hurt to be ignored by a bird. Very well, witness. Who is your owner? Please testify for us. Who is your owner?
Hello. What?
Huh. Certainly the most concise testimony we've had so far. Very well. Begin your cross-examination. Right. What are you going to do, Nick? I don't know. What do we do, Maya? Witness, you can't just say hello and expect us to get anywhere. I want you to testify. Maya, can you talk to her? Right, what do I say? Have we forgotten something? What's your name? What is the safe number? Have we forgotten something? Damit können wir ja DL6 aufbringen. Nein! Das ist wichtig. Maybe I should get her to say her name. Polly, what's your name? Polly, squawk! Mr. Wright? I think we've established that this parrot is named Polly. Does this have anything to do with her owner's identity? Haben wir ja schon festgestellt. Yes, it does. Ha! Fascinating. You claim that the parrot's name will prove her owner's identity? Then show us this proof. Nick, don't you think you're taking the bluffing a little too far? Listen, we are not here to answer the question of who is the caretaker. We are here to prove that he is Yanni Yogi. All we have to do is tie the name Polly to Yogi. Your Honor, the proof that the parrot's name reveals the caretaker's identity is the DL6 file. The DL6 case file? That's quite a large file you have there. Which page is the proof on then? Show us or stop wasting our time. Very well, Mr. Wright, please show us the page. Where in this file is the information connected to this parrot's name? Suspect data. It's on the suspect data page. This page has all the information about Yanni Yogi. Right after he was arrested, his fiancée committed suicide, see? Huh, indeed, it does say that, yes. What was his fiancée's name? Polly Jenkins. Polly. Exactly, Your Honor. He wanted to remember the name of his fiancée who had committed suicide. That's why he named his parrot after her. I see, I guess that is impossible. Bah, a mere coincidence, that's all. My granddaughter has a dog she calls Phoenix. Well, Mr. Wright, does this make you my granddaughter's fiancé? She's only 7 years old. Huh, indeed. Alone it is a little weak for evidence in a murder trial. We would need some other corroborating evidence. Where am I going to find that? Nick, we are getting closer. One more, if you can just get one more piece of evidence. Right, but what? Very well, witness, you may continue. Der Typ hat Kinder? Ja, der Typ hat Kinder. Vielleicht bekommen wir den einen oder anderen in Zukunft in einem anderen Spiel zu sehen. Witness, you can't just blah, 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 blah. What's your name? Have we forgotten something? Wir nehmen mal Have we forgotten something, weil dann kommt ja dieses DL6-Gedöns. As I recall 2 days ago. Polly, have we forgotten something? Squawk! Don't forget DL6, Squawk! Aber Polly ist ein sehr, sehr schöner Vogel, ganz nebenbei. If I get Polly to say that here, that will prove that the caretaker had something to do with DL6. Polly, have we forgotten something? Hello, Squawk. Huh? That's not what you're supposed to say. Forgot something, we forgot. Hello. Whoa, it's not working, Nick, she won't say it. It's ridiculous, why won't she say it? Something the matter, Mr. Wright? Wait, don't tell me Von Karma expected this. He couldn't have retrained the parrot, could he? Did he train her not to respond when we asked if we'd forgotten anything? Nehmen wir halt was anderes. Das ist auch so gut, das ist richtig gut. What's the safe number? Maybe I get her to say the number of that safe. Huh? What's the safe? Let's just try to get her to say anything, okay? Polly, what was the number to the safe in the shack? 1228, 1228. My, what a reckless parrot. Well, Mr. Wright, you aren't claiming that this number has something to do with the caretaker, right? 1228. 1228, das ist das Datum von DL6-Fall. Actually, it does. That's why I had her to say that. Ha! Ridiculous. How can the number to a safe tell us who the caretaker is? Show us your proof. What could possibly link this number to the caretaker's true identity? The DL6 case file. Blah blah blah. Jetzt müssen wir wieder sagen, welche Seite. Case summary. It's on the case summary page. The case summary? Specifically, the date on which the DL6 incident occurred. The date of the incident. December 28th. Why, that's today's date, 15 years ago, and the number on that safe is 1228. He used the date of the DL6 incident as a number for his safe, Your Honor. That's how important that date was to him. I see. It certainly is an interesting coincidence. People often do set their secret numbers to dates. Bah! This is not tangible proof. I set my ATM card's number to 001 because I'm number 1. China number 1. This has nothing to do with the date. Nothing. That's enough. I think we've reached a conclusion here. This is a mere coincidence, that's all. True, that is a possibility. However, 2 coincidences at the same time seems more like a pattern to me. What are you saying? Summon the caretaker of the boat shop. Immediately. Einfach ATM-Nummer rausprallen. Beste. Witness. Tell us your name. Wait. This witness, he doesn't remember. No. It's okay. Er hat gesprochen. Oh, shite! I've accomplished what I wanted to do. I'm done. Nick! He looks totally different. This is the real Yogi, I think. Finally. He's been acting feeble to hide his true identity. Acting for 15 years. Well, let me ask you again. Please state your name for the court. My name is Yanni Yogi. 15 years ago, I served as a bailiff in this very court. Order! Order! Yanni Yogi. So was it you who killed Robert Hammond? And tried to frame Miles Edgeworth for his death? Yes, it was me. I did it. They put me on the witness stand 15 years ago. Robert Hammond, he said, I was mentally unsound. He told me it would make me innocent, get me off the hook. So I pretended to have brain damage. I was innocent, really, but he didn't believe me. We won the trial, but I lost everything. I lost my job, my fiancé, my social standing. Then, this year, 15 years later, a package arrived. It was a letter and a pistol. The plan was written out in careful detail. It was a plan for me to take my revenge on the people who ruined my life. I didn't care who had sent it. I thought this was my chance. After 15 years, this was it. Finally, a chance to have my revenge on Robert Hammond and Miles Edgeworth. I have no regrets. Wait a moment. Revenge against Miles Edgeworth? What do you mean? I'm not at liberty to speak on that matter. Why don't you ask Mr. Edgeworth yourself? Anyway, I admit it. I was the one who killed Robert Hammond. Von Karma? Where is Mr. Yogi? Under arrest, Your Honor. I saw no room for error in his confession. Then, the defendant, Miles Edgeworth, is innocent, in this case at least. Huh. Very well. Will the defendant please take the stand? There are few mysteries left unsolved. Still, you are cleared of suspicion for this particular case. So I would like to pass judgment on the murder of Mr. Robert Hammond. Any objections? I don't believe it. Why isn't Von Karma saying anything? Very well. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, not guilty. Woo! Confetti rain, guys. Let's do it. Case is over. Stream is over. That is all. This court is adjourned. We did it. Objection! What? Apparently not. Did someone just say objection? It wasn't Von Karma. Wait, but that means... no. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I object to your judgment. Oh, what do you mean? I'm not innocent at all. As we have heard, Yanni Yogi killed Robert Hammond in revenge. But revenge for what? Nick, Edgeworth is trying to confess. He's going to say he's guilty. He's going to tell them he was the murderer in DL6 incident. He's going to tell them he killed his own dad. Uh-oh, what do I do? The judgment has already been passed. I object to Edgeworth's outburst. Didn't something like this happen yesterday too? I believe a certain witness raised an objection after a guilty verdict was passed. That would be Larry. We must hear this new statement. We must hear Miles Edgeworth. He's right. We have a duty to hear Mr. Edgeworth out. Holy fuck, der Fall ist so gut. Der ist so gut geschrieben. For 15 years, I have had a recurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare, that's what I told myself. But now I know it wasn't a dream. Yanni Yogi wasn't the killer. You mean, in the incident where your father died? From the distance of the shot, it wasn't suicide either. Everything was as clear as day. The murderer, the criminal in the DL6 incident, it was me. Your Honor, I confess my guilt. I am guilty for DL6, the statute of limitations of which ends today. The culprit is me. Order, order. This is certainly unexpected. The defendant declared innocent is confessing to a different crime. A crime for which the statute of limitations runs out today. I'm not really sure how I should deal with this. Pah! It's obvious. We hold a trial right here, right now. We tried this man for his crime of 15 years ago. Ja, es fühlt sich halt schuldig am Tode seines Vaters. Das ist schon nochmal was anderes, ne? I think I would like to take a 5-minute recess. During this time, I will consider the appropriate course of action to take. Court is adjourned. Tja, tatsächlich ist der Fall noch nicht vorbei. Wir müssen jetzt noch einmal einen kleinen Trial-Teil hinter uns bringen, um herauszufinden, was damals wirklich passiert ist. I'm sorry, Wright. I've just wasted all of your effort. Mr. Edgeworth, I just don't believe it, sir. I mean, you kill your own dad? I didn't want to believe it myself, detective. But it's the truth. I deserve to be punished. Murder is murder, no matter what the circumstances. This is crazy. Just crazy. Nick, what are you doing? Huh? Oh, I was just reading through the court record once more. I'm getting my case ready. Your case? For what? Huh? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to prove that Miles Edgeworth is innocent. What are you talking about, pal? He just admitted to it. He confessed that he did it in court. I'm sorry, Edgeworth, but I don't believe your nightmare. What? It's just a dream. It's not real. The truth is right here in this court record. In any case, tighten your belts. The real fight is just beginning. I'll prove you're innocent. Trust me. Right. Na, habt ihr die Gachi-Vibes gespürt? Zwischen den beiden gerade? Now then, I would like to resume our trial. Judge, Miles Edgeworth has admitted his own guilt. He has confessed his crime. Let us begin by hearing his testimony. Then, though pointless, let the defense do their cross-examining. The statute of limitations on the DL6 incident runs out today. Though it's unconventional for me, I'd like to run this by the book. I see. Does the defense have any objections? No, Your Honor. Von Karma, you knew this was going to happen from the very beginning, didn't you? Alter, das ist so geil. Diese Atmosphäre gerade, dieses letzte Gefecht von Karma versus Phoenix Wright. So gut. Very well. Will Miles Edgeworth take the stand? Will the witness state his name and profession? Miles Edgeworth, I'm a prosecuting attorney. Mr. Edgeworth, 15 years ago, you mistakenly killed your father, Gregory Edgeworth. Is this correct? It is correct. Then testify about this matter to the court. When Edgeworth was telling me about his dream yesterday, I noticed something. One detail didn't quite fit. That will be the key, but only if I can get it to work. Please, please. Jetzt geht's um die Wurst. Es waren sogar 40 Jahre, Tellin, ja? That day, I had gone to the courtroom to observe one of my father's trials. As we went to leave, an earthquake struck, trapping us in the elevator. My father and Mr. Yogi lost their composure and began to argue. Just then, something heavy fell at my feet. I picked it up and threw it at Mr. Yogi. I wanted them to stop fighting. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, then a scream. It was a terrible scream. I remember it to this day. That's all. Huh. And until now, you thought this memory was a dream. We were stuck in that elevator for 5 hours. The oxygen in the elevator ran out and I lost my memory of the events. Pah! The same claim as Mr. Yogi has made. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Yes, Your Honor. Genau, es waren 40. Lass uns noch mal die DL6 Sachen abchecken. Was hier gleich auffällt, ist, dass da ein Riesenloch in dem einen Fenster in der Mitte ist, by the way. Was sehr verdächtig ist. Taken from Gregory's Edgeworth still bears the ballistic marks, okay. Wir haben noch den DL6-Fall, den können wir uns natürlich auch nochmal durchlesen. Location, elevator, district court. Air in the elevator was oxygen, the planet and time and incident. No clues found in the scene. Defense attorney trapped in the elevator returning from a lost trial with son Miles Edgeworth, age 9. One bullet found in heart. The murder weapon was fired. Okay, we have it. We have it, guys. We have it. Ich wollte nur nochmal sicher gehen. Just then, blah blah blah. I picked it up, blah blah blah. A moment later, there was a single gunshot, then a scream. There was a terrible. Okay. Hier muss ich, glaube ich, einfach den DL6-Fall präsentieren. Weil hier ja steht, the murder weapon was fired twice. Was sehr verdächtig ist, aber er hat ja nur einen Schuss gehört. Ja. Are you sure you heard only one gunshot? Yes, I'm sure of that. I heard the shot and the scream. Then everything faded. I was unconscious until the rescuers came. I see. No, Your Honor, unfortunately you don't. Look at this file one more time. This plainly contradicts the witness's testimony. You do enjoy dragging out that file, don't you? I don't accept this evidence unless you can tell us what page it's on. Which page contradicts Miles Edgeworth's testimony? Was it page 2? Es war page 2, ne? Ja. Victim data. Look at the victim data in this file. It says it's quite plainly the murder weapon was fired twice. Miles Edgeworth only heard one gunshot, yet the murder weapon was fired twice. The first shot was the accidental firing when the pistol was thrown. So, who fired the remaining shot? Huh. Was there perhaps another shooter who fired that second shot? Your Honor, as I'm sure you're aware, this incident occurred 15 years ago. The evidence is dated. The pistol did fire twice. However, we do not know when that second shot was fired. It might have been fired the day before the incident. There is no proof that the second shot had anything to do with the incident. What? I see. You do have a point, Mr. Wright. The murder weapon was fired twice, as we heard. One of those shots was fired by the defendant, a boy at the time. Do you have any proof that the other shot was fired? Other shot fired had something to do with the case? Ja, bestimmt. I guess. Your Honor, I think I will be able to show you proof. What? Impossible. No, Mr. von Karma. Save your surprise for after you've seen the evidence. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show us your proof. Do you have any evidence that the second firing of the pistol is related to this incident? Bluffen gelernt von Mr. Wright persönlich. Also das Einzige, was ich mir jetzt wirklich vorstellen kann, ist das Tatortfoto. Weil wir sehen hier beim Tatortfoto 2 Einschlaglöcher so gesehen. Ich probier's mal. Ansonsten gibt's keinen Beweis dafür. Look at this photograph. This is a photograph of the scene of the crime 15 years ago. I can see that the victim lying there is Gregory Edgeworth. This proves the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. This photo proves it. So, let me get this straight. This photo proves 2 shots were fired. Where? Your Honor, please get a clue. Show the judge the contradiction in the photo. Wahrscheinlich das Einschlagloch da oben, ne? Was mir auch schon aufgefallen ist. As should be obvious, the contradiction is here. I see, a bullet hole in the door. Your Honor, Gregory Edgeworth was killed by a shot from the pistol. Yet there is also a bullet hole in the elevator door. We also know that the murder weapon was fired twice. Thus, someone other than Edgeworth fired that second shot. Ist echt so, Anton. Order! Mr. Wright, what are you driving at? It's simple, Your Honor. At the time of the incident, 2 shots were fired. One went into Gregory Edgeworth's heart. The other hit the elevator door. Remember that the defendant lost conscience after the shot he fired rang out. In conclusion, we must agree that the second shot was fired by someone else. Mr. Wright, but who could that someone else be? The murderer, of course. I knew I should have stopped in before your wild fantasies got out of hand. Mr. Wright, look once more at the DL6 incident case file. Look closely. Try the case summary page. The case summary, that's on page 1. Look what is written there. Not a single clue was found on the scene. If the pistol had indeed been fired 2 times, then the other bullet would have been discovered on the scene. He does have a point. That second bullet has never been found. Why? Because the second bullet does not exist. The bullet that claimed Gregory Edgeworth's life was the one fired by his own son. That is the truth of this matter, the whole truth. It was undoubtedly something else that made that bullet hole in the door. Order! I will have order! Mr. Wright has proven one thing to us quite clearly. That the murder weapon was fired twice at the time of the incident. However, as Mr. von Kammer says, the second bullet fired was not found. It is highly unlikely that the police merely overlooked this second bullet. So all we have is the single bullet fired. I'm afraid I have to discount the defense's claim. I praise the judge for his wisdom in this matter. Gah, how did this happen? I don't believe that the second bullet didn't exist. Was I wrong? Have I been wrong about this whole incident? What are you doing, Nick? Why aren't you raising an objection? I'm sorry, Maya. What? It looks like I was wrong. Nick? If the second bullet wasn't there, then all my conjectures are for nothing. No. But you said you'd do it, Nick. You said you'd get Edgeworth declared innocent. I'm sorry. It's just when I saw the photograph, I thought that 2 shots had been fired. I was so certain of it. I thought I'd won. I thought there was another person, someone else who fired the killing shot. But now... I was wrong to think it could be that simple. This case has stood unsolved for 15 years. Nick. Well, it seems that we have finally cleared up this incident. Only 1 bullet was found at the scene of the crime. That shot was fired by Miles Edgeworth. Precisely. I would like to ask one thing of Miles Edgeworth before passing my verdict. Have you been paying attention to the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Do you have any objections? No. No, I do not. So you killed your father, though that was not your intention? Yes, I did. Oh no. He's accepted the guilt. Very well. The statute of limitations on the murder of Gregory Edgeworth runs out today. Therefore, I must pronounce a verdict on the defendant today, right here. Könnte echt sein, Ellen. Right now? Indeed. Does anyone have any objections? I've been here before. It's just like my first day in court. There are so many things I know I should be saying, but my mind's gone blank. I can't find the words. Mr. Wright? Your Honor? I object. Mr. Wright, on what grounds do you object? Huh? Oof. Nick. I don't know. His case is perfect. No. Ah. It must exist. The second bullet. What? What did you just say? Nothing. The second bullet must exist. Yeah, obviously. But where? Someone took it. It seems waiting is not going to produce us any answers from Mr. Wright. Wait, Your Honor. Huh? The second bullet. It existed. What? But we've just heard proof that it did not exist. I realize that, Your Honor. I'm really grasping here. It's just someone took it from the scene of the crime. That's what happened. But who? The murderer. The murderer? Then tell us just who is this murderer? I'm still thinking about that one. Huh? So the criminal took the second bullet. But why? Huh? First of all, how would they have found it? It's not easy to find a stray bullet, Mr. Wright. Was there some pressing need for the murderer to search for that bullet? The murderer had to find it, the murderer didn't need it. He had to find it. Of course there was a need. That's why they took it. Pah! What possible reason could they have had? Well, the reason the murderer took the bullet away from the scene with them is the bullet would be proof the murderer was cautious. Yeah, the bullet would be proof. Maybe they thought that the bullet would be used as proof. Proof? It was a special bullet, so they took it with them. If that was the case, then they should have taken the bullet from inside Gregory as well. Huh? Why would they only take one of the 2 shots fired? Oh, right. Mr. Wright, have you really thought this through? I'm going to have to penalize you. What the hell? Fuck. The murderer had to find it. The murderer didn't need it. The murderer was cautious. Well, the murderer was a very cautious sort, you see. That's why the murderer had to search for that bullet. If that was the case, then they should have taken...